Things began to shift gradually, like waves pulling back from the shore. Emily and I had been partners for almost 12 years. Like any couple, we faced challenges. But recently, something felt off. It wasn't just a usual tiredness or financial stress. It was her. At first, I thought it was a temporary phase. Everyone has tough days, don't they? But as months passed, I noticed subtle signs that troubled me. Emily grew distant. It wasn't blatant, but I could feel it. Our once easy conversations now seemed strained. When I asked about her day, she gave brief replies, as if unwilling to share. The worst part was the missing glint in her eyes when she looked at me. Her small gestures of affection faded too. Emily used to be so warm, surprising me with hugs or leaving sweet notes on my desk saying, "I love you." But those moments dwindled. One evening, I tried to wrap my arms around her while she cooked dinner, as I often did. She stepped away, saying she was busy. It wasn't harsh, but it left a heavy feeling in my chest. Slowly, I noticed other clues. She spent more time on her phone, smiling at the screen. When I asked what was amusing, she'd dodge the question or lock her phone. Once, I caught the name James flashing on her screen while she typed. My heart skipped. When I asked who he was, she replied without meeting my eyes, "A coworker. We're just discussing work." I didn't push, but doubt lingered. Evenings changed, too. Emily used to spark late-night chats about everything, our kids, dreams, or shows we loved. Now, she'd lie in bed, glued to her phone, as if I weren't there. When I asked if something was wrong, she'd say, "I'm just tired." But her exhaustion seemed deeper than physical. The turning point came during a family dinner. Our son, Ethan, was excitedly sharing about a school project, but Emily was distracted, chuckling at her phone. It wasn't like her. She was usually all in for our kids' stories. Ethan paused, looking at her, hoping for attention. "Are you with us?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She nodded, muttering, "Sorry, guys, I'm handling something." That night, as she slept, I lay awake, my mind racing. Was I overthinking? Was something truly wrong? Deep down, I sensed the woman I built a life with was slipping away. One afternoon, while I was cleaning the backyard, Emily approached, her face serious, almost tense. I wiped my hands on my jeans, sensing something big. "Ryan, can we talk?" she said, her voice steady but heavy. I followed her to the living room and sat on the couch. She paced for a moment, the silence suffocating. "Go ahead, Emily," I urged, feeling tension rise. "What's going on?" She stopped, took a deep breath, and crossed her arms. After what felt like forever, she said, "I'm unhappy, Ryan." Her words hit like a blow. I sat silently, processing. I'd seen the signs, felt the distance, but hearing it was different. It confirmed my fears. "Unhappy?" I echoed, trying to grasp it. "With what?" "Me? Our family." She sat on the far end of the couch, keeping space between us. "With everything, Ryan. With us. With our marriage. I feel trapped, like I'm not happy anymore." My heart raced. I wanted to understand, but anger crept in. "How long have you felt this way? Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "For a while," she said, staring at the floor. "I thought it was temporary, but I don't feel the same anymore." Each word stung. I tried to stay calm, but my voice sharpened. "So you kept it to yourself and let me think everything was fine?" "I didn't want to hurt you," she said, her voice rising and softening. "But I can't pretend anymore. I'm not happy. I need something different." "Something different?" I repeated. "What does that mean? Do you want to end this?" She didn't answer right away, her silence speaking volumes. She was holding back. "Emily, look at me," I said firmly. "If there's something you're not saying, tell me now." She met my eyes, and for the first time I saw guilt. "I just think we're not working anymore," she said. "I want something new, something that makes me feel alive again." "Something or someone?" I asked, my heart pounding. She hesitated, then murmured, Maybe I met someone who made me realize this." The world crumbled. I stared at her, trying to absorb it. "Emily, the woman I'd built a life with, was admitting she wanted someone else. It felt like the ground vanished beneath me. I took a deep breath, struggling to stay composed. "Emily," I began, my voice shaking, "I need to understand. What did I do wrong? I thought I was doing everything right." She looked at me, searching for words that wouldn't wound as much. But I wanted the truth, no matter how painful. "It's not about what you did," she said. "It's about how I feel." "How you feel?" I repeated, my voice rising. "You're saying I did nothing wrong, but you're replacing me with someone else? Explain that, Emily, because I don't understand." She fidgeted, avoiding my gaze. I pressed on. "I've always been here for you. When you needed support, I was there. When you wanted that course and we couldn't afford it, I worked late to make it happen. When you were sick for a month, I took care of you and the kids alone." She tried to speak, but I continued. "I did it because I love you, because I wanted the best for you. And now you want someone else." "It's not that simple," she said, but I shook my head. "Not simple? What's simpler than being honest? Why didn't you tell me? Why not give me a chance to fix this?" Silence. My frustration grew. I've given everything to this marriage. I've worked hard, been a good father, a good husband, and now you're saying I'm not enough. "You've been a good husband," she said quietly, "but I've changed. I need something more." "Something more?" I asked, anger rising. "Everything we built, everything we've been through isn't enough?" She started crying, but I couldn't feel sympathy. My chest felt crushed. "You know what hurts most, Emily? I never thought you'd betray me like this. Not just with another person, but by treating me like I'm disposable. I didn't want to hurt you," she sobbed. "I just didn't know how to say I wasn't happy." "You should have talked to me," I said, shaking my head, "giving me a chance to fight for us. But you chose to replace me. Now what? I'm just a father of your kids? A chapter you want to close?" She sat there, crying, while I felt my heart break. I didn't know what would happen next, but one thing was clear. Our marriage, as I knew it, was shattered. Things would never be the same. Days later, still reeling, Emily asked to talk again. Her tone was different, resolute, final. The kids were playing in their room as I sat in the living room. She approached, nervously adjusting her sweater, a habit when she was anxious. "Ryan," she began, her voice steady but heavy, "we need to talk again." I sighed, bracing myself. "Go ahead, Emily. What now?" She hesitated, then said, "I've made my decision. I'm leaving the house." The words hit hard. I sat silently, processing. I knew our marriage was broken, but hearing her decision was a fresh wound. "Leaving the house?" I whispered. "What about the kids? Our life here? Are you just walking away?" "I'm not abandoning anyone," she said, her tone defensive. "I just need to do this." But to me, it felt like she was turning her back on everything we'd built. "I need to focus on myself now," she continued, her voice trembling but firm. "I need a new beginning." "A new beginning?" I echoed, stunned. "With another man? Is that what you're saying?" She looked away, not denying it. "Yes, I've met someone who makes me feel alive again, someone who gets me in a way I don't feel here anymore." "So that's it," I said, my voice rising. "You're leaving your family, your kids, to chase a dream with a man you barely know? How can you do this, Emily?" She replied, her face a mix of anxiety and resolve. "Ryan, you don't understand. I've been unhappy for so long. I stayed for the kids, for you, but I can't live like this anymore. I need to be happy. Yes, I'm going to travel with him. We're planning a fresh start together." "Planning?" I let out a bitter laugh, filled with disbelief and pain. "You're planning your happiness while tearing our family apart? What about the kids, Emily? They'll wake up and find their mother gone because she wanted to be happy. Do you think that won't hurt them?" She bit her lip, tears welling, but stood her ground. "I know it won't be easy, but you're an incredible father, Ryan. I know you'll care for them. They mean the world to me, but I need this for myself. I can't keep pretending I'm okay. So it's okay to abandon your family, without thinking of the consequences? I shot back, my voice thick with emotion. You think happiness means walking away from everything you've built? A tear slid down her cheek, but she wiped it away quickly. I know it seems selfish, Ryan, but I need to try. I need this. And how will you find happiness knowing you left your kids behind? Knowing you broke our trust? I asked, anger surging. She shook her head, unable to respond. I've made my decision, she said, her voice shaky. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'll pack tonight. I stood from the couch, unable to stay still. Tomorrow? Just like that. Emily, for heaven's sake, think about the kids. They need you. They have you, she said, as if that solved everything. You've always been the best father. I know you'll care for them better than anyone. I stared at her, disbelief washing over me. The woman before me wasn't the Emily I married, the mother who was always there for our kids. Now, she was someone putting her own desires above everything. That night, she packed her things. I didn't speak. I had no strength to argue. I watched silently as she pulled clothes from the closet, stacking suitcases in the hallway. The kids slept, unaware their lives were about to change forever. The next morning, she left without saying goodbye to the kids. I stood there, staring into the emptiness, knowing everything now rested on me. Despite the pain, I vowed to protect my children from the impact of her selfish choice. Emily could chase the happiness she thought she wanted, but I knew life often makes us face the consequences of our decisions. After she left, leaving a void behind, I knew I couldn't carry this alone. The kids were still asleep, and I sat on the couch, staring at the empty suitcases she'd left, symbols of all we'd lost. My mind swirled with thoughts. Though I wanted to handle it alone, I needed help. I decided to call my mom, my rock in tough times. With trembling hands, I dialed her number. Each ring felt endless. When she answered, her warm voice brought a flicker of relief. "Hi, sweetheart. Is everything okay?" she asked, her tone full of care. "No, Mom," I said, my voice breaking. "Everything's a mess. Emily's gone." Silence followed. I could picture her worried face. "What do you mean, gone? What happened?" she asked. She said she's unhappy, that she needs something different. She packed her things and left the kids with me. "She's with another man," I said, my voice heavy with anger and hurt. My mom sighed deeply. "Oh, Ryan, are you okay? Do the kids know?" "Not yet," I said, rubbing my face. "They were asleep when she left. I don't know how to tell them, Mom." "Ryan, come over," she said firmly. "You shouldn't go through this alone. Bring the kids. We'll figure this out together." I agreed, and after getting the boys ready, I drove to my parents' house. During the drive, my mind raced. How could I explain to my family that the woman they loved had walked out on us? When we arrived, my parents were waiting at the door. They hugged me tightly, and I broke down, releasing the pain and frustration I'd held in. "She left us, Mom. How could she do this?" I cried. "Sure, sweetheart," she said, holding me close. "Let's go inside and talk." After settling the boys with their cousins, I sat at the kitchen table with my parents while Mom made coffee. I shared everything, from the first signs of distance to Emily's admission of unhappiness and her departure. My dad, usually quiet, looked frustrated. When I finished, he shook his head. "That woman never valued the man you are, Ryan. You've done everything for her, for your family, and now she throws it away for some fantasy." "I've thought the same, Dad," I said, trying to stay calm. "But what hurts most is she didn't think about the kids. How could she leave without saying goodbye?" Mom placed a comforting hand on my shoulder, her eyes teary. "Ryan, you're strong, and those kids have an incredible father. It'll be hard, but you'll get through this. Emily will see her mistake. Trust me." I told him about the man she left with, though I knew little. My dad, rarely angry, slammed his hand on the table. "Unbelievable. She betrayed not just you, but the whole family's trust. She had everything here." Mom calmed him down, but the situation clearly upset everyone. When my sister arrived and heard the story, she was furious. "Ryan, this can't stand. She needs to know the damage she's caused." Does her family know? I hadn't considered that, but I realized it was necessary. I called Emily's parents, something I never thought I'd do. When I explained, they were shocked. Her mother cried, apologizing. "Ryan, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's gotten into Emily. She's never been like this," she said, her voice full of sorrow. We agreed to meet the next day. I went to her parents' house with the boys and explained again. They were devastated, ashamed of Emily's actions. Her father, a stern man, looked disappointed. "She'll realize her mistake, Ryan, but know we're on your side." That support was vital. Despite the pain, knowing my family and even hers stood by me gave me strength. My priority was clear: my kids. Emily had chosen a different path, but I would be their rock, even alone. A year passed since Emily walked out, leaving not just our home but our family behind. The first months were tough. Explaining to the boys that their mom wasn't coming back, answering their questions, drying their tears, and coping with the emptiness drained me. But life slowly found rhythm. I focused on my boys and myself, diving into work to provide for them, and starting to care for my own well-being. I reconnected with old friends, made new ones, and found happiness in small, unexpected moments, especially when my boys smiled. Months passed without word from Emily, and I didn't mind. Then, one quiet morning at the grocery store with the boys, I ran into Sarah, one of Emily's old friends. She spotted me in the produce aisle, her expression a mix of nerves and curiosity. "Ryan, wow, it's been a while," she said, trying to sound casual. "Hi, Sarah. How have you been?" I replied, tossing apples into the cart. "I'm good, but how are you?" "How are the boys?" she asked, glancing at them debating cereal. "We're doing great, thanks," I said, not in the mood for small talk. She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "Ryan, I don't know if you've heard about Emily. Her name sent a chill through me." "No, I haven't." "What about her?" I asked. Sarah's tone grew hushed. Things didn't work out for her. The guy she left with dumped her, and it wasn't pretty. I stayed quiet, processing. It wasn't surprising, but it stirred something in me. "He dumped her?" I asked, keeping my tone even. She nodded. "Yeah, and apparently he was cheating on her for months. Emily's in a bad place now, without money or a stable home." I wanted to feel nothing, but a twinge of pity flickered inside me. Emily had made her choice, leaving us to chase happiness elsewhere, only to be betrayed by the man she left for, left with nothing. "Do you know where she is now?" I asked, unsure if I wanted the answer. "I'm not sure exactly," Sarah said, her voice tinged with sadness. "Last I heard, she was staying with a friend temporarily. But things are tough for her, Ryan." I shook my head, unsure what to say. Part of me thought this was justice, but another part remembered the Emily I once loved. Still, I could only muster faint sympathy. She had made her choices, and now she faced the consequences. "Thanks for telling me, Sarah," I said, pushing the cart forward. "But honestly, it doesn't change anything. My focus is on my boys." She nodded, understanding. "Of course, Ryan. I just thought you should know." After that encounter, I couldn't stop thinking about Sarah's words. I pictured Emily's life now, so different from the dream she chased when she left. The man who promised her a new beginning had deceived her, leaving her alone. Meanwhile, I had stayed, building a steady, loving life for our boys. The contrast was stark. In time, it became clear life has a way of balancing things out. Emily chose to leave, believing in greener pastures. Now, she faced the fallout, while I stood firm, raising our boys with love and stability. I was proud of that. Then, Olivia entered my life unexpectedly. She was a co-worker, always kind and helpful, but I never imagined she'd become so important. At first, we were just friends, but over time, something shifted. She spent more time with me, genuinely caring for me and the boys, offering support without being overbearing. Her sincerity was something I hadn't felt in a long time. The first time she met the boys was a quiet Sunday afternoon. I invited her for lunch, with no big expectations. The boys were shy at first, but Olivia had a knack for making everyone feel at ease. She helped Ethan with a puzzle, and showed Liam how to improve a school drawing. I watched from a distance, smiling for the first time in ages. Our home felt warm and peaceful. As months passed, our bond grew stronger. Olivia didn't just support me emotionally. She became a natural part of the boys' lives. She never tried to replace their mother, but earned their trust and admiration. When Ethan struggled with math, she patiently explained each problem. When Liam was sick, she stayed up all night, changing cold compresses and reading him stories to keep him calm. One day, after a fun park outing, Ethan said something that stunned me. "Dad, Olivia's really nice. She's like a mom, right?" His words hit deep. I glanced at Olivia in the front seat, who overheard and gave a warm, genuine smile filled with affection. The boys were right. She was filling the void Emily left. What amazed me was how effortlessly Olivia did this. Her care, kindness, and presence came naturally, unlike Emily, who never matched that in the same way. That evening, after the boys were in bed, I sat with Olivia on the couch. "Olivia, you don't know how much you mean to us," I said. "I don't know what I'd do without you." She smiled and held my hand. "You know I do this because I love you all, right? No need to thank me." In that moment, I realized I'd found someone who truly valued family, someone there not just for me, but wholeheartedly for the boys. Olivia was everything Emily wasn't, loving, supportive, and responsible by nature. As Olivia became a vital part of our lives, Emily faded from our thoughts. The boys stopped mentioning her, and I didn't bring her up. It was as if we'd slowly left the past behind. The memories lingered, but Olivia's presence was like a healing balm, soothing the wounds Emily left. Now, when I look at my life, I see peace. Olivia brought that to me and the boys. She didn't just step into our lives. She became essential. Despite the painful past, I'm grateful for her. Someone who showed me that true love means being present, caring, and building something solid and lasting together.